sorry.
Oh no, 200! It's fine. It's off to the races. People
That's right.
haven't figured out that this is a loosey-goosey podcast. You want structure. This is probably not for you.
Probably not. Probably not where you want to be. No. If you want some weird humor, you're in the right place.
In the right place. Totally. So welcome to the Must Love Yarn podcast.
Hello.
Hello, it is Monday.
April something. 11th.
April 11th. But by the time you watch this, it'll be like the 15th. Because we'll post
Tax day.
Tax day. Actually, 18th because it's a holiday in DC.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think my taxes might actually be done on time. I'm pretty excited about that.
Mine are done too. So
No, they're not done yet. We just got our K1s this weekend, so that's a whole nother story, which we will not deviate into.
Yes, so tax day is coming up.
And this podcast will be on the same day.
Yes. And
you're welcome.
So, yes, exactly. Exactly. So this is a podcast about yarn and knitting and occasionally crocheting and fiber-related things and Vermonty things. And we are here in our yarn shop in Shelburne, Vermont, where we sell lots of stuff we're going to talk to you about today.
Yeah, lots and lots.
Occasionally we bring in yarn from our stash, which was not purchased here. And sometimes even was purchased here because I have a pretty extensive stash.
I have a whole lot of stash right here, 3,000 square feet of stash.
That's how I have even more in my house.
plus what's at home.
Yeah, and I just bought more yarn to make a new sweater.
And I haven't, but I'm going to.
No.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a minute and how we both had the same brainstorm almost at the same time. It's kind of weird without speaking to each other.
Very weird. We're on the same wavelength. But anyway, I'm Angela.
I'm John.
And you can find me on social media, Instagram and Ravelry as Junior Bird Kid.
And you can find me on Ravelry as J. Arbuckle and on Instagram as Jennifer_Arbuckle.
And our mob of meerkats are still hibernating. Mostly because I forgot them this morning.
Maybe when the snow really melts completely.
Very, very tired.
Yeah. And
I'm just happy I made it out the door this morning with most of the things that I needed for this. So,
as I said, there was a small pile. It wasn't hard to not forget it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, feel free. Thank you to all the people, the new follows on Instagram. Really appreciate it. There hasn't been a whole lot of knitting content lately.
I posted some very pretty pictures yesterday of knitting. For the classes that are coming up
those
week.
were gorgeous.
Sometimes we just have to paint, print, or share knitting content.
Exactly.
And actually, most of that was knit by, maybe not all of it was knit by us, but quite a bit of it. I went around the store taking pictures of samples.
Amazing. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, wow.
I derailed you. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Our loose
That's my
structure,
job here on this podcast.
Our loose structure is failing.
Right, I'm the queen of tangents.
Oh, so did we decide what we were doing for our podcast pick this week? Because that's actually what we start with.
Oh, right. We didn't decide for sure.
I think we do the Huasco. That's what I think.
All right.
Now that I just gave it away. We have a bunch of new yarns in for spring and summer.
Yeah, that one. Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of them are like cottony type yarns. This is a new one to us. This is Huasco cotton kettle dyed.
We have their wool, but we don't have their cotton until just now. And then we saw these and we thought, well, those are awesome.
Feel really nice.
I think there's 2 colors that are still coming, to be honest with you, because I feel like we had 6 colors.
I feel like that's maybe accurate.
I think there's a creamy, sort of yellowy creamy one, and maybe a greeny sort of one.
Yeah.
We did sort of like a palette.
Yeah. So we have these 4 in stock right now. These are 100% cotton. They are, let's give you some details here. 481 yards.
Oh, right, so they're fingering weight.
Over 100 grams. Yes, fingering weight cotton. 100% cotton. Price point, because I'm on top of things. Jen's going to tell you about some more of it while I look up how much
they're
these
really
are.
nice, sort of tonal. They've done a nice job. And so, although there is some variation in there, of course, when you knit them up, they'll just make a really pretty. We thought these would be perfect for like summer t-shirts and other summer knits, just because sometimes you want like a lightweight cotton, obviously, and we didn't have any fingering weight cotton, and so we sort of went on a little bit of a
We
rampage
went on a
here.
bender, kind of. Had a whole bunch of
We
stuff.
did, because we have several others to show you as well, but these are the ones that we'll do the pick for, and so
It retails for $16.99 a skein.
yeah, good yardage though, I will say that. And even though it's cotton, it has a really nice feel to it. Not that cotton wouldn't, but you can tell it's really, really
soft.
tight twist on it, so it doesn't feel quite as stringy as some
I feel like I
do.
should throw the head.
Throw the lightweight wig head, not the other.
I know
the
that
long
one
neck
would
lady.
like
The long neck
would
lady probably
break
wouldn't
something.
survive.
What?
That's right. We might be all right.
I think we're okay for right now.
Yeah. Gotta talk fast before the sun goes down, but we got time. So anyway, so 4 great colors to start with. This one is blueberries and cream. This one is lost its label, so I can't tell you, but let's just call it gray.
It is like a gray. Here, I can tell you.
This one is called Grape Aid, and this one is called Black Cherry.
That's coconut ice.
Oh yeah, this black cherry one is really pretty. It's really nice because it's pink, but it's like a gray sort of
It's
pink.
like a nice pink.
Yeah, it's not in your face.
There's like a bad pink. It's a nice pink.
I've got some bad pink over here.
Oh, you do have bad pink. I wonder if my flex lips are long enough. Nope. I'm gonna go get that.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you, you just need it has to be on your side.
I know.
Because the rhythmic streamer will work over there.
I know.
You wait till next time. I know I said I was going to have Gumby for you this time, but I
We have plans.
I didn't do that. So anyway, so
So the way this works is for 2 weeks from the podcast air date, with the coupon code, you get 10% off for any of our in-stock yarn that we have.
PP Kettle.
PP Kettle. That works for me.
Easy to spell.
Yep.
Easy to
We won't
remember.
make you do Huasco because
It's got too many vowels
or
in it.
Araucania, you know.
I still can't spell that, and we've been selling their yarn for 6 years, so it's kind of sad. But anyway, beautiful yarn. Give it a try if you're looking for a little t-shirt.
Yeah, or a tank
A
or
little bit of
something
a
like
discount
that.
on it. She'll be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good yardage. You probably, for depending on what size you're making, a couple skeins.
Yeah,
For a
480
tank.
yards.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
almost
maybe
5
just 2 at
Yeah.
most. You might not even,
Yeah.
depending. Yeah,
on what you're making. But yeah, really good yardage on those.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
awesome. So that's one of our new yarns. I suppose we can just jump in and maybe talk some more about some of these other cotton yarns.
Do we want to host up the bucket, or do we want to do let's do these ones that are easier to reach.
Yeah, let's do the small bucket before we hoist the large bucket
Here's
that's
this
sitting on the ground.
basket. Yeah. So we have, so these guys, these are from Katia, and these are Genesis. These are, I think, all recycled materials, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and also has recycled plastic.
Yeah, so 50% cotton, 50% polyester. Although I gotta say, you wouldn't know it. It has a really nice
No.
feel to it.
Yeah,
the
it's
cotton is
super
really
nice.
Yeah.
And it's recycled marine plastic, so they're
Right.
pulling
polyester,
plastic out
yeah.
of the ocean and turning it into yarn.
Right, so that's where the polyester comes from,
It's amazing.
which is nice. Yeah. So again, fingering weight. These are 150 gram skeins, so they're a little bit larger. You could easily get probably a t-shirt or a tank for sure out of them because they're 656 yards. And they're just in these super fun summery pastels. I have 4 different colors. Oh,
I was
that
just
one
looking
is
at the
just-
price point because
Yeah.
we're clearly on top of things today.
Well, teamwork makes the dream work.
I know. Little more expensive. These are $39.99.
Oh yeah, these don't have names. So this one's called 305. This one, which is really, they're sort of, I don't know, they just make me think of summertime and ice cream and I don't know.
And
what.
it'll knit up as like a kind of a stripey,
Yeah,
muted kind of stripe.
Yeah.
So,
this one's 300.
but again, keeping in mind it's 150 gram skein.
Yeah.
So while it's $39.99, it's like a skein and a half of normal.
Yeah.
Almost 650 yards
Yeah, I think you could easily get a t-shirt out of them. for
out
the
of
most
just
part.
one.
Maybe, I mean, obviously
Maybe.
it depends on what size you're trying to make, but maybe. This one's 303.
Or you could like stripe these guys together.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Like
actually
the-
blend. It's funny, I actually
The
thought
rocket tee.
for a minute I thought they were both from Hawasco, and then
Yeah.
I remembered that we had done.
This recycled stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
really
this
cool.
one is 302, which is
Yeah.
sort of turquoisey aqua. Yeah, so this one's mostly pink. This one's mostly bluish aqua. This one is green, and this one has a little bit more yellowy coral in it. Yeah, anyway, beautiful.
Totally.
Fun.
Totally. And our cotton tour is not done here.
We have two more.
We went from like
Oh my goodness,
no
from
fingering
no fingering
cotton
weight.
to like let's do all the cotton.
Right. So to add to our little Rowan collection, we brought in Summer Light 4-ply. So these are 50-gram skeins.
And they retail for $8.95.
Yeah, and these are 100% cotton. Yeah, and then what's the yardage on these? It is 191 yards, so pretty good for 50 grams.
Yep.
And so we have, these are like solids, I would call them.
Yeah,
Like,
not
there's
kettle dyes, like nothing, just
Yeah.
like straight up.
So we just brought them in, and we did some brights and a lot of neutrals. Yeah. So there's lots of other colors. So if you actually have another color that you're interested in, it was really hard for us to just choose
This is kind of like a really deep purple. It's kind of
Yeah.
showing as like
Yeah,
black
it looks really
or
dark or
brown,
brown, but it's really
it's
like
kind of a
I would call it dusky grape.
dusky. Yeah, that's a good description.
Yeah, a little gray,
Grape.
gray, but really eggplanty.
Yeah.
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 Dusky eggplant.
It's a gorgeous color.
Dusty grape sounds better
Dusty grape.
than dusty eggplant. Oh dear, why am I here today?
I don't know. Why are either of us here today? We're
Ooh.
a mess.
Yes. So that are those beautiful things. And then
Because that's not enough cotton.
I don't know how we're going to do this.
We have problems.
Yeah. So then we wanted an alternative for like a really inexpensive but nice cotton that you could use for t-shirts or dishcloths. So it's a little bit more on a good price point. Well, yeah, right.
At the risk of making a giant mess.
So there you go. Lots of colors, super nice, great palette, brights, neutrals, all solids, no tonals, no prints, but all solids. And actually, let's turn it around. We can show the aqua. We have several sort of samples. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Cool.
Ugh. So it's up really nicely. It has a really soft feel to it. So although it is definitely, I don't want to call it dishcloth cotton, but it's definitely like good for that.
Yeah.
It has a nice feel to it.
And-
sorry.
Sorry. It is 100% cotton, 100 grams, 185 yards. So it's a medium weight, like a
Almost worsted.
between like a DK and worsted.
Yeah.
Retails for $5.99 a skein. So
Yeah.
again, like that really sort of good.
Yeah. We have a lot of really nice heavier cottons, but we didn't have anything that was at the less expensive end for
Yeah.
use for
And you can
hand
use this for
towels or
like
face
market
cloths
bags
or market bags.
You know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But it's just, this feels like amazing. Like this is
Yeah,
not
it's really soft. It's not stringy at all.
You know, sugar and spice stuff, cotton. I mean,
It
this
has
is
a better
really
spin on it
nice.
for one thing, so
Yeah.
it's more tightly plied, so it doesn't have that sort of stringy falling apart sort of thing.
Gorgeous looking.
Yeah,
Feels real
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, it does.
Not your grandma's cotton.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So that's a bunch of our fun new spring yarns, summer
Yeah.
yarns that we have in. I feel like there's probably more that maybe isn't here yet, or that we just have
I think that
forgotten
might
to
be
talk
it
about.
for the cottons.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit today about doing a Quince & Co. order.
Yeah.
So they have a beautiful linen that we're pretty much out of. And so in the colors, I was trying to pick colors yesterday. There's like
They're gorgeous.
25 beautiful summer t-shirt colors. And so we're trying to pick those.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for those coming in a little bit later this summer, maybe. Probably pretty soon, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got your summer t-shirt covered.
Summer t-shirt central right here.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Wow.
Yeah. And the rocket tee, is the rocket tee with mohair as well? No.
So
Two fingerings?
I knit mine out of 2 fingerings. The pattern itself calls for a fingering and a mohair.
That's what I thought.
And you alternate, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, too
That seems
hot.
funny for summertime, although the mohair would be warm.
It's open.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an open weave. But I did it with 2 fingering, and it was fine.
Yeah,
And
I was just going to
looked good.
say, if you wanted mohair, we have a lot of nice, not
Pastel-y,
pastel, but
but
more
lighter colored.
colored mohair. So we could easily find stuff that would be good with
Yeah.
this.
But I think definitely like this,
Yeah.
that variegated with like one of these like cuddle dyed would look
Yeah,
amazing.
or even one of these solids. you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
because
Yep.
a really solid one,
Yep.
would play off of that nicely, and you would really see the patterning.
Yeah, and I think the rocket tee that I made, that's exactly, one was like a variegated,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other was more of a solid. So
Yeah. Interesting.
I want to make
Anyway,
another one of those.
I like
at
this
some point,
this
too.
dark purple
The
color.
dusty grape,
Yes.
dusty eggplant grape.
Dusty eggplant. I would love to know what they call it. They don't have their names.
Oh,
on here
hang on, I could probably find it. What number is it?
Oh, I don't know. They have the world's smallest print on here. 432 maybe.
Aubergine.
Well, there you go. Dusty eggplant.
Let me know.
If you're not French. Or British, I guess, maybe, right? British, right? Rowan is British.
Yeah.
Yes. Aubergine.
Aubergine.
Yeah.
Oh. So
All
what you
right.
wearing today?
I threw this on because I didn't have any knits on today. I was in my Vermonti attire earlier today. So this is a little shawl that I knit, I don't know, when we were still in the other store, so like 3 or 4 years ago. So it lives in the store as a shop sample now. It's the pattern is called Easy. It's a Martena Bain pattern, and it's made with Neuro Silk Garden Sock. You could really use any sort of striping yarn, but it has this sort of it's very long
nice.
and
Yeah.
whatever. But it's interesting because you knit all the way, and then you start picking up stitches and knit the other triangle. It's it was very confusing for me at the beginning. I was like, what is happening here? But
It's one of those where you like, just go with it. It'll make sense when it's all done.
right? It's completely reversible, which is nice. Doesn't have
Yeah.
a front and a back.
It's all garter stitch too. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually a really, and because it's striped,
mm-hmm.
it's just fun. You were just
Right.
like, oh, and they're short because you're knitting the stripes on the bias. There's some long ones once you get into the middle here, but for the most part, they're just short as you go across the,
nice.
if you start at one teensy little tail. Oh, this makes me think
Nice.
of spring, this one. I
Nice.
don't wear it very often, but
Yeah,
just
not
why it's
just your
here.
shirt
Yeah.
too.
Very spring today. Yes.
So I was reorganizing my
Yeah.
sweater chest and remembered a couple of sweaters that I hadn't worn in a while. So this is the confetti fade
Mm-hmm.
that I made. The pattern's Confetti by Vera Valimaki, and I like the shape of it and I like the cut of it, and I just faded down to the bottom.
Yeah,
So
it's a pretty sweater.
thank you. It's pilling. Pilling needs to be
Yes.
depilled.
Don't they all?
Yeah.
And just for the record, we sell these shawl pins in our store. I think New Hampshire Pewter makes them. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So they come from New Hampshire. Lots of great shapes. I
Yeah.
like this one because it was
Gorgeous.
similar in shape to this, and also would hold it together.
Nice.
So they're pretty good price too. I think they're like $30, $20 or $30. So
Yeah, for
we
handmade
have a
pewter.
couple. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Super
Does a
nice.
nice job.
Super nice.
Yeah. All right.
So I have a couple of finished objects.
Yeah, I got nothing. I wrote a pattern for this finished up.
Yeah, so I think let's talk about this one first. So when we were here 2 weeks ago, I was showing the yarn. I think I was showing the yarn. To get ready to knit this. Oh yeah, we talked about the yarn drop off.
Right.
Miscommunication via text. So
Right.
the pattern is up and available, and the test knit is done. This is the Sunflower Rising hat that Jen designed to go in conjunction with the Sunflower Rising cowl. Hers is knit out of Fiber Stash. Mine is knit out of a combination of Ultra Wool and wool stock. Yep.
Yeah.
Ultra Wool is the blue. So just a slightly different shade, but wanted to knit it as something that had a little lower price point for people.
Yeah.
Just to give them some options.
Yeah, we have kits for both of these up as well. So the patterns are still available for sale. And honestly, as long as until we say otherwise, which given the way things are going might be a long time,
Wild.
unfortunately. Yeah. We'll continue to donate the proceeds. We haven't made our first donation yet, but we're getting pretty close. We're expecting the yarn for the kits hopefully this week. Christy was dyeing over the weekend.
Nice.
And dyeing yarn over the weekend, just to be clear. And then we will get all the kits out. So we did pre-orders for both the hat and for the cowl. So thank you to everyone who has
ordered
or donated or shared or
We
supported.
have a whole
in any
bunch of
way.
them sitting in our waiting to process queue.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. On the cowl kits, I think we only have a couple left. And on the hats, I think we have 5 or 6 left, maybe.
Nice.
I'm not quite sure. So
Nice.
so they're still there. And if we get through all of those and people are still looking for them, we'll do a different set of yarns or do something else. But anyway, we're going to continue to try and do what we can. And we've sold, I haven't done a tally yet, so I know vaguely where we are. I think we need to figure out obviously I know we charge for the kits, but I haven't talked with Christy yet about what she's charging us for her yarn. And I'm sure she's probably going to do something for us. So I don't know exactly how big the donation is, but I think we're probably close to $1,000.
That's amazing.
Between
That's amazing.
the pattern sales and the kit sales.
That's amazing.
So hopefully maybe a little bit more. And, keep sharing, please.
Yeah.
Letting people know. It's a tiny little thing that we can do, but it hopefully will have some impact on the other side.
Exactly.
So anyway, plus I have to admit I do. It's so cute.
I mean, there was talk just a little bit ago about a mitten pattern too, so I don't know.
We're coming into spring, but it's just because I love the little sunflowers so much. It's so
I know.
cute. And the little cabley.
It is such a great.
the little cabley leaves.
I know you could do the cables up like the back of the wrist, and then
Yeah.
it would be gorgeous.
Yeah. Right. See, it's perfect. Yes. So I might do that, but I have a few other things to do in the meantime. So
As we'll talk about in a little bit, we both
Yes.
got super distracted with some yarn.
yeah. Well, plus I'm also starting to think about June. June
Right.
is our next
Right.
Seasons of Vermont box. So we have nailed down the yarn, and
Nice.
I haven't seen it yet, but once I do, I will start test knitting.
So I have another finished object.
All right. Go for it.
Yeah. So I've had one of these socks done for a couple of years since
Mm-hmm.
I test knit them for a 2020
Oh.
Seasons of Vermont box. This is the Summer is So Shorty sock.
Oh, Kelly's pattern. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
so
finally
cute.
knit the second sock.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pair.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this one's a little like wonky because it's been like folded up in a knitting bag for like 2 years. I haven't blocked them yet.
Mm.
But I have
One of them looks bigger than
it is the toe's longer on this one.
Okay.
I have to like.
I was
rip it
like, maybe
back.
I'm just really tired, or the
No.
chocolate is going to my head. I don't know.
No, the toe. You can tell the toe. I didn't follow
Yeah.
the directions for the toe on this one. I just did my own thing, and that's what I get.
Yeah,
I may not care.
yeah,
I may rip it back.
yeah.
Fix it.
Do we have some of those left? Those
Yeah,
kits?
I
We
brought
probably do.
I brought it over. So we still have a couple kits. So that's the sock pattern, and the yarn is Fiber Stash. It's this really beautiful,
Yeah.
like green speckled.
I love that
yarn.
colorway. Yeah,
So yeah, this is
it's inspired by a picture from my backyard.
yeah.
It's
But you
all
can
the summer colors.
but you can get the pattern on
Yeah.
on Ravelry. It's in the
Yep.
bundle for the SOV.
Yeah.
Seasons of Vermont along.
Yep, it's a really cute little pattern.
So I got really inspired, and I was like, I should ask Jen what she's got coming up for the docket, and does she need like a pair of socks worked on or something?
I will have yarn for I think socks are going to be October or September, and I do have a plan.
Okay.
I haven't drafted a pattern yet.
Okay, but I'm happy to test knit.
all right.
you
And Jen
need it,
Broom offered too,
because
so that'd
I
be great.
like socks.
So
So
I don't want to spoil the surprise, but the yarn is being conceived of
Okay. Cool.
right now
Okay.
by our September yarn
Okay.
person.
So yeah, so I have been re-inspired to do socks
Awesome.
again.
That's
Maybe
good.
my sock class helped. I don't know.
How was that class?
It was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah. It is fun to teach. We'll see
Nice
this
to like
weekend.
sit and chat with people about yarn
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
socks.
yeah, yeah. That's good.
It's not like I actually need to knit more socks because one thing I did was go through all of my pairs of socks to
Yeah.
pull samples
Yeah.
for the class.
Yeah,
A lot of
you were knitting socks a lot for a long
Yeah.
time there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, spoken from someone who does not knit them.
Yeah.
Which is why we need test knitters. Although I had a brief moment where I was like, maybe I will knit this pair, but it would
I
be lovely to
also-
have a test knitter.
Want to
The pattern is good. I'm going to have to fuss with it a little bit. So
I also want to try out the Flexi Flips. I got some because I think I'm going to do some other socks. But I'm going to give them a go.
yeah,
One of the people in the class was using them, and I was like, those look fun.
I could
It's
see
like-
for a sleeve. Actually, that might be good for a
Well,
sleeve.
that's why I have
Do we have any
these.
size 10s?
That's why I have these.
Yeah,
To try.
I don't think we
'Cause
have a
it's
size
like
10.
magic loop, but not.
You just keep
Yeah.
or double points. It's the magic
But
intersection
but
of double
it's
points.
that you have two on, so it's more
Yeah.
like magic loop. Half stitches on each,
Yeah.
but not as fiddly as trying to like mess
Yeah.
around with a cord.
Yeah,
So
right. Or the double points where they're falling out all the time.
right, or poking you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People seem to like them. Although it's funny, people seem to like them or not like them. That seems to be
I maybe
the
shouldn't have
reaction.
bought 2 pairs until I find out if I like them or not, but
You probably will like them.
I probably will. I like double points, so I figure it's just
Yeah.
it's maybe an easier, less fussy version of double points.
Yeah, I would think so.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
So those are my 2 finished objects,
Okay.
which is pretty good. I knit a whole sock and a hat and a whole sleeve. Steeked it and a whole sleeve and started the second sleeve.
So there's your whip. Yeah. One of them.
It's the only one I have left. Well, that I'm talking about. Because the other one's in timeout.
Oh, definitely for sure.
The
in
others
timeout.
one are
Yeah.
still in timeout.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably going to stay there for a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm
cranky with
determined
it.
to finish this in the next couple weeks, and I think I probably will, because in the 2 weeks since we were here, since I did not have to knit other things, yellow and blue, I made quite a bit of progress on my sweater.
That's gorgeous, Jen.
And so it's, I finished the lace panel. I don't know if you could, you can see where I was before the practice keeper.
Sun striped over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the color both in the sun and not in the color. So it's probably hard to see the lace, but there you go. And of course it's big, bulky lace. But and then I put the sleeve on over the weekend, and I'm knitting down the sleeve. It looks a little big. Actually, I had to add some stitches because I was fussing with the pattern a little bit, so it's fine. I would rather have it be bigger than not, so it'll be fine. And then I'm almost about to start the lace, the same lace patterns repeated on the sleeves. And then I just have the other sleeve. And honestly, I've done this entire sleeve in the last couple days, so I feel like by next time, as the temperature gets to the point where I cannot wear this, I'll be good to go. So anyway, I'm getting close,
Nice.
which will be nice. I want to finish it for sure rather than put it in hibernation.
Right.
And despite my pile of potential yarn purchases here, I'm ready to move on to the sea glass tee. That's
I'm
my next
already in because I already bought mine. So she hasn't bought her yarn yet for the upcoming
Right. We wanted to
whips,
get this
but-
going.
Yeah. For
So-
the project. So the Danny sweater, I steeked it. You guys saw I put pictures up on Instagram.
I was so sure you're just on the one side, and I was like, good for you. Yes.
I figured I needed to do them both.
Yes, because, right.
Yeah. Because then I could just do what I did, which is I finished that one and picked that one right back up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
away we go. That looks
Yeah.
really funny on the mannequin.
This is an informational show. Do not do this at home.
And the active yarn ball is sitting at the top of the mannequin, which also needs a collar around the top part or the but I think it's pretty likely unless I get super distracted by this new project, but I don't think I will because I kind of want to get that done.
I think we'll both have new sweaters next
I'll have a
time.
new sweater done next time.
Yeah. I'm determined to finish it.
Exciting.
And then it'll be great because I really am excited to go back to the sea glass. That's my next summer knit. I was enjoying that. And I think I was I hadn't split for the sleeves yet, but I was pretty close. And so that will be a short sleeve tee probably, or maybe like, I think I was going to knit it just to above the elbow.
I feel like I need to do that when I have so
It's
many
fun.
fingering weight scraps.
Oh my
and
God,
just,
it's
like,
a perfect use for that. Yeah. And it's so much fun to see them blendy. So, but I did some hacks to that pattern that I would recommend that we can talk about it.
Okay.
But, I had you switching yarns every row, and I am switching. There are choices in there, and they were using fray check to prevent them from moving, and I was like that.
Did you do the Russian join?
That's what I did, but they were using the magic knot with the fray check. And one of the folks in our knitting group was doing that. She did it for the first couple rows. And the fray check is like hard plastic when it dries. So it's like this pokey thing in the back of your neck because it's in the center back. So I used the same color for 2 rows, but I alternated the colors so that I was only switching one color every row, but not, anyway, it's hard to describe, but they were switching 2 colors every row. And I was like, that's a lot of switching. And a lot of ends to weave in, which is why they were using magic knot. And so I did the Russian join so I don't have to weave in any ends. And I was also alternating which side of the back I was doing them on. So I wasn't just going to have like a weird line on the middle. It's sort of blended in because there's so many color changes anyway. You can't really. So I think the women in our knit group started doing the same thing because it just, anyway, for me, that worked better. Yeah, so I'll have to dig it back out again. And I have some more scraps.
I don't have fingering weight scraps.
Yeah, and it's really fun. I've seen some beautiful, like really tonal ones. And I was going to do that and sort of just use this sort of palette of colors, but I got sucked into, so mine is multicolored. Although I do have sort of this neutral taupey kind of color that sort of goes through so that it holds everything
Unifies it together.
Yeah. And for the ribbings, I'll do that.
Nice.
Yeah, that one I think I want to have just above my elbow.
Yep.
Like not super short sleeve, but
nice.
We'll see.
Nice.
Yes, but in the meantime.
So my other stuff, my farmhouse cardi is in timeout. Till I think ultimately what I'm going to end up doing with that edging is just ripping it out and doing it again. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind when a little more time passes, but
I would do everything up until you have to make that decision.
Well, that would just be the sleeves.
Yeah, but then you could sort of see, yeah, and I guess the other thing is I would probably not have it change color anyway. Like it seems funny to me.
Yeah, I mean color. That's probably what I would do.
think you would just want it to be dark all the way around.
Yeah, if I rip it out, I think I'm just gonna make it the same color.
Yeah,
all the way down. So
watch our last podcast if you're wondering what we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I did something on the tubular bind off that made a weird pattern, and it's not necessarily bad. It's just I'm pretty sure I probably can't recreate it because I don't know.
To do all the other edges.
I don't know what I did.
And also, I think, again, like if you don't love it, honestly, it will take you half an hour to take it out and half an hour to fix it. And an hour later, you're done. Yeah. So speaking of which, I'm going along on the lace. And when you start the lace, you can see that there's stockinette between the tops. And you're sort of, when you start the lace, and then partway through, like by the time you get down here to this first section, on the sides, meanwhile, you've just been doing stockinette to that point. And then on the sides, because it switches to ribbing, which I was following the chart, which is just the lace repeat. And I knew that there were these 8 stitches on the side, of course, because every round I was coming around to them. And I kept thinking when I got to that point, and I knew there was some ribbing because the ribbing fills in the gaps at the bottom of the lace. You can sort of see how it goes sort of up and down. And I knew that was going to happen. And I kept looking at it thinking, why is this stockinette between these pattern repeats? Because there's a weird purl stitch in there. And if I had just gone back, the pattern is very clear.
Read the pattern. Which is usually what happens to me.
Yeah. The hard thing for me is that what would have helped because it was on a different page from the chart, and it would
little,
it would
like,
have helped
note.
on row 17 of the chart for there to be a note that said, remember to start this here.
Yeah.
So I didn't, and I got
Oh no.
all the way down to probably, I don't know, like maybe down. I had done like this much. It was hard to see there.
You had to rip it out.
So in the car, as I drove I wasn't driving, but
As somebody else
my
drove.
colleague was driving, as we drove to Carthage, New York, which for those that don't know is over by Watertown, it's 4.5 hour drive on Wednesday afternoon.
Each way.
Yes, right, but we stayed. So he didn't seem to mind driving, thank goodness. And so I was like, all right, I'm taking it down. And I had a very long moment of like, you can't really tell. Like I could just start ribbing it now and it would have been
Like,
at a fairly,
down in here somewhere.
it would have been at a fairly logical point for that to be happening. And then I was like, I just want it to be right. So I dropped these 8 stitches down, 20 rows.
Oh,
on both sides.
You didn't rip it all out. You just
God, no.
fixed it in
No.
the middle.
I'm the queen of surgery. Like if I don't have to, I was like not going to repeat 20 rows. It was 20
okay.
rows.
Yeah, okay.
No, so I dropped those 8 stitches down and I just re-knit them
Awesome.
on both sides.
Amazing.
It took almost the entire 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
But
But it would take even longer to rip all
right,
that out.
and I was in the
knit those
car
20
and I
rows.
was like, you know what? It's fine. And as it turns out, I didn't bring an extra skein of this yarn with me, so I ran out. The 2 nights that we were there, I would have had nothing to do for one of those nights because I would have run out of the yarn sooner.
Right.
Anyway, note to self.
See, look, she was trying to be good. She only brought one project
Right, so good.
instead of bringing a couple.
6 like I normally do, and don't
With
have room in my luggage for.
No emergency project.
And as I walked out of the house,
That'll teach
the
you.
cat had pulled like one of the balls of yarn out of another bag, and I was like, "Oh!" And I picked it up, and I was like, "I should put it in my knitting bag because maybe." But these mohair balls, you never
go
know
forever.
how. Like you feel like you've got like 12 years worth of yarn in here,
Yeah.
and then you realize when you pick it up that it's like hollow inside there. There's just
But
a
it
little
still
bit
is
left.
like an everlasting gobstop.
Right. Yes.
It's like everlasting
unless you need
mohair
it
ball.
to be, in which case it's not. But
Right.
Anyway, one thing I was going to mention though, so we've had these Knitter's Pride mindful needles and cords, the swivel cords, in the store for a while now, like since last year sometime maybe. And I have lots of other needles, and so, but I didn't have interchangeables that were 10s, I guess maybe, which is what I'm knitting that on. And so I thought, well, why don't I buy these? They're a little bit more expensive, but I'm going to try them. And I really love them, I have to say. I like the Zings a lot, but I do have an issue where they untwist on me.
Mine do that too.
And so the swivel cord thing, there's 2 things about it. So do you mind if I open this?
No, go ahead.
Very, very heavily stuck. I have one in my
don't
bag over
want
there.
you to
There it
know
is. So the cords, first of all, they're a little bit heavier. And although it looks like they're coiled, they uncoil and they become flat very quickly.
Wow.
So it's already, and this has been coiled up in that package for months, but you can see it doesn't do that thing that the other cords
Where
do,
they just stick to each other.
where
and
they
they're
just are
so
coiled and
stiff.
coiled and coiled.
Yeah.
They do have these 1-inch marks on the cord, which I haven't really used, but they're there.
Right, in case you need a little ruler.
Yeah, and then what's interesting is that this connection point swivels.
Swivel so it doesn't come unscrewed.
And so once you tighten them up, it doesn't come unscrewed. And,
amazing. 'Cause
and
that's
the joints, even though you would think, well, it's swiveling and the cord is up inside there, you would think the joints would catch. I don't think they're any worse. I mean, they're fine compared to the other ones. They're fine.
Because
So.
for me, on the interchangeables, that's probably one of the most annoying
drives me crazy,
things
yeah.
is inevitably in some project, and usually it's a sweater, and it's when you get down towards the bottom and it's heavier and you're trying to like move it around, the joints come loose.
Yeah.
And once it starts happening, you can't fix it. I mean, you can tighten them back up, but it's just gonna
It just keeps
again.
undoing. Yeah, because it's going around in circles on itself.
Yeah.
So anyway, this was my first time knitting with them. I've enjoyed them immensely. The needles have, like they say, peace or I don't know what on them. They have different mindful words on
Nice.
them. So written, and the needles are all stainless steel. They have pretty good tips on them.
But you could put the zings or anything on the cords, right?
The Knitter's Pride products, wood, metal, zings, these, whatever, will all work. All cords will work with all needle tips.
Right.
So
really, if I find that I really like those cords, I just need to get the cords because I have a ton of zings and other interchangeables.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I happened to buy. I thought, well, if I'm going to buy them, I'm going to buy the other ones just to see.
Yeah. I got these because they're 17s. And
right.
I need them for the.
And I'm going to buy them when she's done.
Yeah.
Unless I find some at home. Anyway, so I just wanted to put a plug in there because I've really enjoyed knitting with them a lot, and I have always been very happy with the zings. I like them just fine. I like metal needles. Yeah. Although I'll knit with whatever is closest to hand when I'm casting on. Oh, look, that's what's in the bag. The other one's across the room.
I like wood double points.
Oh yeah, no.
Particularly for the the larger sizes, because they're not as heavy. The zings can sometimes be too heavy and they're really floppy.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Whereas the wood ones are nice, but I'm excited to try these. And
these are lightweight. That's the other thing. They're a little bit lighter weight. Of course,
And so what are we keep alluding to this mysterious project, Jen?
So last night I was watching The Grocery Girls, and at the end, they were talking about knit collage because and I've been thinking about it every now and then because every spring they do their thing, and I've seen a few posts about it, and I wasn't really thinking that it was releasing last week, but it was, I guess. And so they're an affiliate or something, and so they were showing they had a whole fashion show, and they were doing all the samples on their show, and I was like, I've wanted to knit one of the patterns before. A couple of years ago, they had really great patterns. This year, they're not my style, and I don't love the colors that they have this year. So I thought, well, that would be kind of fun, and that would be fast. Like, I could knit a whole sweater between podcasts. So we shall see whether that's true or not. It won't be between the next one because next time it will be this sweater.
So Jen came in with this whole plan. Meanwhile, I was here.
I couldn't sleep last night. I was so
wandering
excited
around the store, and this skein of hand-dyed, hand-spun caught my eye. This is from one of our local farmers, and it's
beautiful.
Alpaca Shetland hand-spun. It's gorgeous, and I was like, I love that. What can I make out of it? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's a pretty thick yarn. Like, I picked the skein up, I was like, well, you could like whack somebody on the head with this. It's a very thick yarn. So I got on Ravelry, and I'm like, what could I make that's a sweater and super bulky? Because I thought this would be good for like color work, right, up at the top. And I stumbled across Pixelated.
Right, so I'm talking to Ange as I wander towards the bulky section, blah, 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 blah. And I said Pixelated, and she's like, wait, I'm looking at Pixelated right now on my screen. And I was like, oh, stop.
I know.
Too funny.
So we're going to make Pixelateds.
We are. The little cardigans.
Yeah. So this is my counter color for Pixelated, and then I found this purple, which the screen maybe is not doing it the most justice, but there is purple in there, and it is pulling out, and this purple actually has some blue in it. So these two are like,
yeah, they are good,
very pretty together.
And I had a hard time sleeping last night for some reason, and I kept thinking, every time I woke up, I was like, oh, the sweater.
Obsessing over the sweater.
I don't know why. My brain works very strangely, obviously, and so the sweater I don't have it pulled up on my screen, but it's white, and it has like gold and green and sort of spring, because they use that fabric yarn, I guess, for lack of a better description. And I was like, oh, the white is really cute. It looks really cute. And then I was like, on that tiny little size 2 model, it looks super cute. A big white bulky sweater on me is probably not, so I probably need a darker color. And so then in my head I was like, oh, navy with like white and pink and green, wouldn't that be great? And then I was like, okay, you have 4 navy blue sweaters that are either on your needles or in the queue, so like different colors of navy blue, but maybe I don't need another one.
Different shades of navy.
Right. And there is a blue over there that's kind of like a tealy royal kind of blue, and I was like, oh, look, and Ange was like, that looks nice on you. And I was like, okay, but no. So I'm going to do dark gray instead as my main color. But I really love the sort of whimsical craziness of the yarn and the fabric and the whatever. So we have a local farm that does these fun fun things for us. And every now and then customers will say, well, what would you ever make with that? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I'm going to use it for the color work on mine. And I'm probably going to hold it with one of these 3 pinks. So maybe you could vote and tell me which one you think. But I have a personal favorite. Yeah. So one is this Lamb's Pride Bulky. So that would be the fun sort of raspberry, I guess. So then the other option would be Moonshine, which would be a little bit tiny bit more muted. I guess it's interesting to look at it on the screen.
Yeah.
And then my personal...
And it'll be like a third color.
It'll be
when
all mixed
I watch
in.
the playback.
Right, exactly, right. And then the other option would be this. It's funny how much darker it looks on the screen because it really is like a super hot
really
pink.
bright.
Super hot pink. So that's the third option. And I will probably make a decision before we leave here tonight.
Probably.
Or
'cause
maybe
she wants
not.
to buy
But
yarn.
just to be sure. But definitely this, which is going to be fun, I think.
Yeah.
And so
I was leaning towards the Moonshine, but now I'm leaning more towards that one.
that's my favorite. It's funny how dark it looks, but I think it will be, because it will just be another strand in with this yarn.
Yeah.
To make it a little bit heavier.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, fun. Spring.
Hence the size 17 needles.
That's right.
Because this gets knit on 17s.
Right. So it's hilarious that you were looking at that sweater as I walked in. I spent all day at the office thinking, what do we have for bulky yarn back there? What are the
And
colors
I'm
we have
totally
back there?
inspired by just seeing the skein of yarn on the rack and being like, I want it.
Really,
it also
but
smells really cheapy.
right. And I was like,
Sniffing it.
in my head, I had Rasta in my head, and I knew we didn't have a lot of colors back here. And I was trying to remember because I walked back there yesterday for something, and I was like, what do we have back there? And I thought to myself, I think they're all colors that are not my favorite.
That would be true.
And it would be true. Plus, we don't have 3 of anything except for this sort of mustardy color.
Not even a nice mustard.
Well, depending on one's preference. It's kind of mustard and olive, and
No,
many people would love that color.
Not my color palette.
Not mine either. Nope. We have lots of it, though. If you'd like to cast on your very own knit collage sweater with us, we have lots of good choices for bulky yarn. So actually the thing, and I think I'm all in favor of knit collage. I think if people want to do that, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Their kits are on sale this week. I think they only sell them for like a week, and then they probably have them elsewhere, but I think they sell out very fast. And so this pattern is from like 3 years ago, maybe 2
I
years
think
ago.
so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because the other one that I had liked a lot was Kaleidoscope. They had it was sort of like a simple pullover, but it was very textured. But this one I think is more useful.
I like the cardigan
Yeah.
style because you could wear it like as a jacket almost for the in-between times.
Yeah, or in the summertime because it's a little short. Dress it up, dress it down. It's one of those kind of...
I mean, you could put some fun, because it's bulky, super bulky yarn, you could put some super fun buttons on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it would be
Or just one big one at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, their stuff
Oh my
is...
god, and I might have one that will match that. The Caitlin Birch. Remember those giant buttons? that she
Oh,
made?
yeah.
That one might be
Yeah.
in that color palette.
Yeah.
I have to find it though.
Yeah.
I
I organize my craft room. I know where all my buttons are. I'm pretty sure I do anyway.
I can't find my sock blockers. I don't know where they are. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they've wandered off.
Yeah. Interesting.
They've wandered off somewhere. I
Yeah.
can't find them.
Anyway, if you're interested in joining us, this will be fun. Super fast
It'll be
knit.
fun.
Do a 2-week knit along.
See how far I get, or if I get distracted with something else.
I think it will actually. Right. The hard thing is the warmer it gets, but that's the plan. Knit it before summer. You're sort of wearing it a little bit during the summer, and then get more.
I'm gonna finish that sleeve first. And that sweater is.
I'm going to finish the
first.
sweater first too. That's why Ange gets the needles first. we only
That's
have
her
one.
vote of confidence that I am going to finish that before.
Yeah, well, she's faster than I am. I think we all know that.
I'm gonna get distracted and cast that on because it's gonna be a fast knit. I'm gonna be like,
That's fine. Either way, then you'll be done with the needles. So the only other thing I was going to say, we have, we'll do a super quick showing of the new library available at Muscle Yard.
I know.
We have
Books
so many
galore.
new books that we just brought in that are so fun. So the latest in the Tanith Gray super,
Disney knitting pattern book.
yeah,
got
so
a
many
bunch of
great
different
things.
ones.
Yeah, it's awesome
Yeah.
to add to her collection of
Yeah, it's got,
stuffies and
sweaters and
movie inspired
little
things.
cowls,
Oh,
things. So
it's the pumpkin.
yes, super cool.
And yet also like there's a beautiful scarf here in the back. So there's just really something for everyone. Grown
Probably
ups.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, look at how
inspired.
cute those socks on the cover are.
I know, right?
They're adorable. They're like little magic slippers.
So cute. So cute.
They're
So
jester, like court jester.
yeah. Oh, look at that. I opened right to that page.
Mm-hmm.
They're Ariel socks
Oh, from Frozen.
from Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Right. Sorry. I don't have children.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah. They are really cute.
So yeah, lots of cool patterns, all different things. Oh, that's cute. What is that cute little top?
It is cute.
Little
Dreams do
tank.
come true. They do.
Tank.
Yeah.
So that's one.
And then I saw this a few weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to look through it yet, but I'm super excited about
I've
it.
seen some like stuff on Instagram. you know,
Yeah.
people who contributed and some little like
Yeah.
things pulled out. It looks
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. So it's got designs by Jeanette Sloan, Nora Gon, and others. Modern Daily Knitting, I think that's maybe where I saw it first. So it's a comic strip knitting book. So awesome.
Cool.
So it's really just awesome. There are words, there are patterns, there's, this is how you do this. It's like an introduction to knitting, but for people who perhaps learn more visually
Yep.
or are more into this. So each designer has, I'm trying to find the front because there's so many good people involved in this project.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they didn't do a list of the people, but anyway, it's really great. So there's a lot of just basic how-to, and also there are patterns. So I would highly recommend it to anyone who's interested.
It's just such a cool.
Plus, the
unique
illustrators
idea.
did such a great job with the graphics.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Here's a list of the people. About the guest designers, which includes Anna Campos, Casey Rich, Cecilia Campachiaro, Hikaru Noguchi, Jeanette Sloan, come on, Julia Farwell Clay, Julie Kornblum, Lauren McElroy, Natalie Warner, Nora Gunn, Rebecca McKenzie, Sherry Cook, and then the illustrators are Laura Ergang and Michelle Phillips. Yeah, so
Nice.
super fun. We've got quite a few copies, so
Yeah.
if that's your jam, check it out.
It's fun. We got a new
it's
needle felting book. So
These
cute.
critters, how can you resist that little
I
polar bear?
know.
And then look the back, show them the back. That bunny.
There's your bunny.
Oh my goodness, look at him. He's so cute.
There's a bunch of different patterns and techniques for doing needle felting, and we've got quite a few
We have so much fiber for
supplies
this. Yeah.
in the shop right now from a lot of our local farmers.
Yeah. It's everything from like whimsical things to very serious things.
To like frame it in a
bumblebees.
in a shadow box kind of thing. So
God, that
Yeah.
bunny is so cute.
really cool. So if you're looking for something, you need a new hobby.
Yes, and then 2 crochet books. This one is for me. You will be able to crochet by the end of this book. Or so they say.
So they say. Should I take them up on it?
I don't know. We can fight over this one too, I think. You've got a head start on me. I might actually need this because I really don't know how to crochet.
So the second book is Crochet Projects and Ideas to Yarn Bomb Your Life. So some ideas for yarn bombing, which is basically like yarn art
Yeah.
attached to things out in public.
Yeah.
A couple of crochet books. Maybe I need that one too.
It's pretty good. I just skimmed through it. So there's got some really simple little projects, but it's all how to. Like, it's more of a technique book. And it starts from like the beginning and takes you all the way through to, how to do this, increases, decreases, turning chains and fake stitches, single, double, treble crochet,
Like it's
where to insert your hook.
very important.
Yeah. And then some simple projects, starting with some squares and some straight crocheting. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, anyway, highly recommend that. Might need to be in my library. Although, I got a little bit of knitting to do.
So when I taught the sock class, I collected all of my books about socks from my own personal library, and I brought them in, and I was like, "This is ridiculous."
5 boxes later.
Oh my god, so many books. And then what do I do if I'm going to knit something? I go right on Ravelry. Like, do I go look at any of the 11 billion books that I have?
I know. And I'm terrible. Like, every now and then I'll go down to Church Street, which is our downtown area, and the Crow bookstore always has a good selection of used knitting books, and so gently used knitting books, and I always go in there and come home with 4 or 5 because, there's like, they're like $10, and if you find 2 patterns in there that you like, I mean, it's
paid for itself.
Right, exactly.
But then do you go back and pull those patterns? Right? No.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah, it kind of depends, but yeah. Yeah. Something else just popped. Oh.
Classes. There's some new classes posted.
Yes.
Lace and cables.
This weekend, cables and lace.
Steeking.
2 separate classes. And then, later this month, I don't remember what we have popping up.
Mosaic knitting in May.
Right.
Come hang out with me.
That's right.
Make me finish my class sample.
The all-important relationship advice at the end of, I think that's at the end of May. Yeah. Right?
That would be good, too.
Learn to love your yarn plus your needles. Yes. Yeah. So they're up on our website, the classes. I think we have some pretty much every weekend from now through.
Yeah.
Yep. We still need to work on our indie dyeing workshop.
Yeah, we've been... I don't know if your schedule's been anything like mine, but it's been ridiculous.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
Not much time to be thinking about other things.
No. And unfortunately, in the evenings, I just want to go home and just knit something simple. Even though this is a fairly simple pattern, even though it's got lace in it, it's pretty straightforward. So.
Yep.
Yeah. But then, other than that, I think there is stuff coming. Local Yarn Shop Day at the end of the month.
Yep.
We will make a plan this week. Actually, we have all kinds of stuff that's sort of coming in to be celebrated with. There are 2 classes that day, actually, now that I think about it. That's when the gauge class is. And I forget what the other one was that we were offering that day. Something else. And then we'll have some fun stuff as well, I think. And some special yarns, of course.
Yep. And there's always patterns, and, Casapinka's doing a pattern again, so... Yeah.
And then in the middle of June, we have...
Worldwide Knit and Public Day.
Yeah. We've talked a little bit about doing a marketplace that day, right? So I guess we gotta...
Should probably get on that. It's coming up.
Plenty of time.
Middle of April right now.
One deadline at a time, right?
I know, right?
And then after that, in July, we've got something going every month. After that, in July, will be Great Northern Yarn Haul. Yep. Maybe a little stitch and pitch.
Maybe. Yep. It'll be fun.
Yeah. And then, it'll be August and back to school again.
I know.
Hard to believe.
Right?
Kids haven't even finished up yet, and I'm already...
You're already at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Sending it back to school.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well...
Yeah, I'm done.
Me too. It's been a long day.
Sorry.
It's a long night last night for me.
Yes. It may be a longer one tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Benadryl. Just kidding.
That's our cue.
Right. Natural light.
Time to go.
Right. Except for Anne, she was nicely framed by the
I'm framed in the sunshine. It's only because our blinds have slats missing.
Yes, unfortunately.
There's not much we can do about it.
No. We could get new ones installed.
We could.
It's not really necessary, except for this.
I know.
No one cares otherwise.
I think we could.
The knit group.
I think we could
care.
super glue them back to the thing.
Maybe.
Gorilla glue it back on. The little nub thing broke. That's why they fell out.
Oh, yeah.
But
or maybe some tape.
Super glue it or tape it back on.
Just put some tape, string and tape up there.
We'll MacGyver it
Someday.
one of these days.
Right. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for hanging out.
For hanging with us.
Yeah. Don't hesitate to subscribe or share or, I don't do all those things that are, I don't know, whatever those things
Set up
are.
for notifications or whatever YouTube's doing now.
Right. Things that help us pop up in front of people,
Yeah.
scare them. Right. All right.
All right.
And we will be back
In a couple weeks.
in a couple weeks.
Yeah. All right.
Have fun. Enjoy your spring.
Yep.
Signs of spring. Good night.
Bye. Just turn that on. We'll just get this
All right.
going.
Nope, that's not funny. My perspective is skewed.
My poor tired eyes.
Oh, I know. This morning I was like,
No sleep last
oh,
night.
God. Am I going to get up and go for my walk? Because the last 3 Monday mornings it's been raining. And I've been like, oh, I'm just going to lie here for a little bit longer. And I was like, no, you cannot do that today because it's probably nice out and you need to go.
They smell so good.
And why do we have cupcakes, you ask?
It's our 200th episode!
Yes, indeed.
And how do we celebrate stuff on the
Oh my God, they
podcast?
do smell good.
With cupcakes!
Mmm. Maple
Maple
chocolate.
chocolate.
And let me tell you, I can smell that maple.
Oh my God, it smells
frosting.
so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
The best kind of crinkly noises.
I
Sorry.
know. Celebrate with us. That might have to be our podcast title.
Yes.
Celebrate 200. It's been like 5 years, 6 years.
Well, we've been open for 6 and change. Almost 6.5.
So
Craziness
6
all by
years.
itself.
Because we started the podcast. I was pregnant
Like
with
a year?
Abigail.
Oh,
And it was right around
So
this time
soon.
in April. And could probably go back and look.
but you were pregnant when we...
Yeah, I was pregnant in the fall into this
Oh,
summer.
right. We opened in November. I was like
Yeah.
thinking to myself, we opened in June.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You're like, no.
my brain is. I
You
don't
weren't
know
pregnant
where.
for like a year.
I was like, wait a minute. Wait, the math doesn't work.
It's not. Shh. No.
Either that or you weren't lifting things to help us move around because you were like, I'm almost pregnant.
I was very early pregnant
I know,
when we
I'm
were
just
opening
kidding.
the store.
Yes.
I was in the I feel sick and I'm gonna vomit phase of things.
Yeah. Which is not pleasant from what I've been told.
No.
Oh. Do I need anything here? No, probably not.
Let's go back and look. I'm pretty sure it was like April.
I think
Ish.
April sounds about right to me.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So 6
Yeah.
years, because Abigail's gonna be 6 in June.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
can believe that. Oh, this only goes back to where's our earlier ones?
These are like fudge with maple on top.
Oh, you know what? I bet they didn't get categorized.
Cheers.
Cheers. Your videos. I want to go find the date. Bear with me. Can eat and look at these at the same time.
Mm.
Are they yummy?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the gluten-free baking has gone.
Mm-hmm. You would never know.
I know. It doesn't actually give me a date. It just says 5 years ago.
And given the terrible birthday cake I made for my niece on Saturday.
Oh no!
Oh, that's what I get for following an internet recipe instead of like my
Your normal, true, tried and true.
strawberry coconut. That was what I wanted to do. So I went online and there were strawberry coconut cakes online, cupcakes in fact, and I was like, all right, fine, cupcake cake. What difference does it make? It really shouldn't. Yeah. It turns out I don't think it was the cupcake recipe. I think it was just the idea of putting pureed strawberries into your cake batter is probably gonna make it. So
Very wet.
yeah, it was, and there was not a lot of flour in there. So but it smelled really. It looked beautiful. It smelled good, and it was. They puffed up right away, and I was like, all right, good.
Cool.
And then, of course, when they came out of the oven and sat for a few minutes, yeah. And then to compound matters, I had decided So I made pink. My niece is turning 14. She's not like a pink girly girl, but she is a rose gold cream sort of neutrally girl. And so I had decided I was going to make, pale pink strawberry frosting, and then
Nice.
toasted coconut on the top and strawberry jam. And so it was beautiful,
sweet.
in fairness. It was a beautiful cake. But the jam, of course, soaked into the cake layer also.
Of course.
Just really bad planning on my part. Usually I'm much better. So it was very dense. It tasted good, but it was very dense.
I've taken to making ice cream cakes for a lot of my crew.
Yeah. I'm a non-dairy person to some degree, so
Yeah.
not completely, but mostly. But there's plenty of good ice cream choices out there that are non-dairy that you can make an ice cream cake with.
Absolutely. And Abigail got a rainbow layer cake for her birthday last year, which we make gluten-free. I just use the cup for cup flour substitution. And I've been doing that like straight with like regular recipes that I've used before. Seems to work fine.
I've made some gluten-free things for us here, and they've been good.
Yeah.
And that's all I've done is just use gluten-free flour. It turns out my sister made an actual birthday cake for her actual birthday, which was Wednesday. And had a similar problem.
Oh,
Completely different recipe.
interesting.
Smelled wonderful. It was gorgeous. It was like this little 6-inch layers, pink. It was beautiful.
But isn't that the rub with baking? Is that it's so temperamental? And like
Yeah,
the
it's just
humidity
weird.
matters and the
Yeah, and it was
temperature
pouring
matters,
rain on
and, like,
Saturday,
the-
but
like all that stuff impacts.
boy, that frosting is delicious.
They're so good. So good.
So everybody was a good sport. Everybody had a piece, and then I threw it away.
Oh,
It was just not. It just was getting denser and denser as the afternoon went on. I was like, thank God we ate this pretty quick.
oh no.
It was funny. Yeah, 14. It's hard for me to believe. I mean, she looks 14 because she's tall, but it's just crazy.
And can you believe William's 10, turning 11?
Mm-hmm.
He's not too far behind her.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy as well.
I know.
It's so good.
Oh, so you're nice and clean.
My hands are sticky. I'm gonna like wash my hands real quick.
I was going to say,
Touch all the yarn.
yeah, we might have to edit just a little bit of this out. But it was delicious. Happy anniversary to
Thank
us.
you. Thank you, Jen. Very good cupcakes.
Which I bought at lunchtime today.
Delicious.
Just to be clear.
Oh yeah, no
I
judging.
did not try and make them on Saturday in the pouring rain. Which
I thought about it. I was like, oh, we should make some cupcakes, and then
last night I almost did it. I was like, oh, because I still have some strawberry frosting left. I wasn't throwing that away. That was delicious. All right, we need some handy wipes.
but then I just couldn't get my stuff together.
I am going to go wash my hands. Sorry, you'll have to edit that part.
That's all right. I'll
Or
just
you'll
keep talking.
talk.
I can talk.
Are we going to tag team hand washing?
Actually, we should both go do it, and then I can just edit it out. And we're back.
We're back.
So the grocery girls, do they do theirs as like a live, like a Facebook live?
They started
then
doing that
record it?
during COVID, so they don't edit it all anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's Facebook. I think it's just live.
Well, or
YouTube Live.
YouTube Live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're always live. It's funny. I have been watching, but I watch sporadically, and I haven't seen the last couple. And they're sporadic. It's not every week. Sometimes it's every week. And they actually said that they were doing it on Wednesday instead of Thursday because they were going to Knit Social
Right.
in Montreal that weekend. So, yes, for those that didn't see that or don't watch the Grocery Girls,
They talked about Jen's
they
cowl.
did. It
on
was
their
so
podcast.
exciting.
It was
They
so
did.
amazing.
It was fun. Yes. So they and that helped a little bit with sales, which is good. So
Nice.
we Yeah, that was nice, and they were very complimentary, which is always nice, no matter what, no matter who it is. So, but it was exciting.
Yes.
And it was very surreal. As I was telling Ange, I just watched it last night, even though I was gone during the week, and I just didn't get around to it. But I was gone that weekend actually, and then so I just watched it last night, and so I knew that it was going to be on there, but I didn't know when, and of course. Right. For those of you that watch them, they're like 2 to 3 hour podcasts. So I tend to watch in like hour long chunks. But it was like right at the beginning. In the first half hour, thank goodness. Although I did, of course, watch the entire one last night, but because I needed some background noise while I was knitting away. But yeah, it was very nice. I had emailed them that morning, so that was the strangest thing.
Yeah, that was like, they were like looking at their email. Oh, this just came in. Look at this.
Yeah, that was very sweet. So, and then we shared it with Indie Untangled, and so she put it up, and then she posted about us on her Instagram feed.
Yeah, I saw that. Really that was nice.
Yeah. Awesome. And since then, of course, Ange has knit the whole hat.
I know, you guys will have already seen this, but...
Yeah.
There's a hat, too.
And of course, then I was like, oh, now I need some Latvian mittens. You know, not Latvian, but like the mittens.
Yeah.
And I almost started making some, and then I was like, maybe you should finish some of your current projects. That's what you should really do. I tried it on yesterday. It fits nicely, actually.
It does. It's a nice fit.
Yeah. And the sunflowers are a good placement. I wasn't sure. But I just thought, wouldn't they be cute mitts if they were like blue and yellow checkerboard on the inside
and then
the sunflower on the back. I might still do them because then I had an idea too that I could do a little yellow heart in the palm of your hand.
Oh, that would be cool too.
Yeah. So, or maybe yeah.
Our styrofoam heads are like, I feel like they're small.
They're wig heads.
Oh, right.
That we had this,
and so is this one. So it does the same thing. But this one has a giant neck. This is my one from home.
This is a sculpture.
This is my one from home.
The sculpture.
I can pull it down over its head. There.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see the shape a little better.
She can't see a thing, but
I know. You don't need eyes. You don't need eyes.
I've always been thinking that I should go, I don't know if we still have it or not, dig out, and probably we shouldn't do this, but remember that, I don't know if you had one, but my sister and I had one of those heads that you could put makeup on and do their hair. And it came like in a suitcase, and so I was the older one, so of course I got it first, and then my sister was 3.5 years younger than I was, and so that poor girl.
She got all of your...
the head, the poor head.
What's interesting...
The lipstick eventually stains the skin of the head, and then I think she cut the hair. I don't even know. But anyway, that's what we need is one of those heads to do our hats on. Because then we could put makeup on the face.
That would be awesome.
That'd be funny. I'm going to go on eBay and see. I don't even know how to go on eBay.
I mean, they probably have those, I'm sure. They're probably vintage, and they're probably way more expensive.
Probably $4,000 for...
Yeah.
We might still have it somewhere in storage, but I don't think so. I think my parents probably took the first opportunity to
get rid of it.
Yeah, because it was not attractive towards the end of its 4 to 5 year tenure with the Arbuckle girls. Yeah. So I don't know. The last couple weekends, so I went to Maine. That was great to see my friends.
It's nice.
One of them actually had some sort of nasty cold, so we met outdoors in a park, and I ended up staying with my other friend for 2 nights instead of 1.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
you were like, no,
thanks. I have a trip coming up.
Abigail and I went to a paint and sip on Saturday and did some painting with another mom and daughter friend of ours. Now both of our kids are homesick, so we were like, what? What happened?
Because they didn't have any alcohol at paint and sip.
Probably.
The alcohol kills all those germs.
Yeah. So that was, and they clearly had the same thing because just like we were comparing symptoms and we were like, yep, they got the same thing.
I think there's definitely, my niece might have come down with something. I'm waiting for it to pop into my system, but having spent the day with her on Saturday, but by the end of the day, she was definitely feeling it. Of course, some of us feel like maybe that was the school dance sleepover. Pre-party, school dance, sleepover, watch a movie, like maybe get 4 hours of sleep on Friday night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she had like runny nose, congestion, and then it like turned into a fever kind of thing. So it's just...
That's no fun.
Woohoo! But yes, we made flamingos.
That's right.
Very fun.
Was that the subject matter, or do you just paint whatever you want?
Yeah, no, they do like a step-by-step kind of like,
Okay.
I mean, you're free to, I mean, there's no art police either, so you can do your own interpretation on it, but
Yeah.
they do have somebody that's kind of like walking you through, like, here's what you do next, and here's the colors you might want to use, but you can kind of do whatever, and so that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
was
flamingos
fun.
are good though.
Yeah, we tried to pick one that the girls could do.
Instead of some pastoral landscape.
Yeah, something that was. I mean, most of theirs are pretty easy. They're
Yeah.
meant to be easy and
Right.
fun, but this
Right.
one, like, you could with the feathers and just like
Yeah.
so.
Right, dark tree, moon, blue sky. I have a friend who loves those, and she's always posting her paintings. It's very funny. But I've always thought, wouldn't that be fun? I've never gone.
It's fun. We should
Yeah.
go sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a bunch. Though the summer they're doing kids camps over the summer this year, so there's not as many like adult ones happening. But they're offering a bunch of different ones, like paint wine glasses or like pour painting. But I mean, really, it's just like get on, look at the calendar, like find one that
Yeah.
you want to do and
Yeah.
that fits into your schedule.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Actually, I've been promising myself I would take a watercolor class, but I haven't found time
yeah,
for that yet. And actually, Shelburne Craft School, where I like to do things occasionally, they haven't been their classes often are during the day, which is unfortunate for people who work full time. Weekdays, I should say. So,
yeah,
but Teresa Davis is my neighbor. She runs a local art
yeah,
program.
Davis
and so,
Studio,
yeah. So I've been thinking about going over there, but
it'd be fun.
I keep thinking about it. I haven't actually looked it up or.
Right.
Because,
Right.
you know, my crafty hands are very busy on the weekends crafting other
Right.
things made out of yarn.
Well, and the only reason why this one happened is we both happen to have like buy one get one seats, and so that we got from some other thing that we were doing, and so we were like, we should take the girls; it'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then we just like made it happen, and
Yeah.
you had to book it by like the end of March, kind of thing.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Yeah, a couple weeks ahead at least.
Yeah.
Maybe a month. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We just did it.
Yeah.
Now I have 6 kids. Woo!
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's right. I meant to. I had this idea. The lights just went out behind us, so we'll see how long the sun lasts. But I had this bright idea that I was going to go to the pet store and get one of
the,
those
like-
big rhythmic cat toys.
Totally.
I have several of them in my house, but they're not very pleasant. So I need a more substantial one that might
Right.
terrify a cat. But
Right.
that could be a solution here.
Maybe.
Either that, or I'm going to order. What are they called? The people with the flags.
Oh, they like the blower guys that.
No,
Oh.
the it's like a sport. I don't want to be mean. But the banners and the
Oh,
football sort of.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. The
Rhythmic-
the rhythmic dancing people with
Yeah.
the streamers and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, ribbon
That's
things.
what we need. If I could remember the name of it, maybe I could order one of those tools.
I mean, I will say Google and Amazon. You
They
get
can
enough
they get there pretty fast.
keywords
Right.
in there.
Rhythmic streamers, and I bet I would be right where I need to be.
It probably would come right up. Totally.
Yes. Maybe something more concerning would also come up, but yeah.
Who knows? I mean, I do not recommend Googling office chairs for women.
You wouldn't think that would be a thing.
You wouldn't think that would be a thing. It is a thing. It will take you places you don't really want to go.
Huh, I might
Yeah.
have to look. We've been looking at office chairs in our office. We have 4 samples in our conference room, and you would think that 20 some odd people could pretty easily consolidate around one. No. We voted, and now we have to, maybe the partners have to choose the
Decide.
the chair. Because
Well-
the chair that was selected by many of the employees is not acceptable to this partner.
Oh, okay.
It's not my first choice.
Well, I was
Really uncomfortable. I don't know what is wrong with it.
I was looking for. I was like, they have to have designed a chair that's like that's smaller, right? That doesn't go as high off the ground. That the seat isn't as long. I mean,
Most of them adjust or whatever. but
they
yes.
do, but even with the adjusting,
Yeah.
like sometimes I couldn't put like my feet flat on the ground.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a smaller framed office chair designed for a smaller person. So yeah, don't Google that.
Of course, now everyone's on their
Now
phone.
everybody's on their phone Googling it.
And I will be as soon as we're done.
Yes. bow, chicka, bow, bow. That
Yes,
should,
one can only imagine.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, good times. Good times.
It's so funny. You know what popped up on my phone today? I was just looking at my unbloomed daffodils as I left. Where is my phone? As I left the, there it is, left the house this morning, and then I got to work, and it was one of those Facebook memories from last year at this time, and my daffodils were in like full bloom. Like I had millions of pictures in one post, and I was like, huh, they haven't bloomed at all, and my crocuses are really slow. I don't really understand it because it's been cold at night though.
Yeah, my crocuses are just starting to like.
Yeah, and there's like a lot
out.
less of them, so I don't know what happened, whether they died off or what.
Yeah, I don't know.
I decided to plant some more in the fall, but anyway, it was just like, oh, hard to understand. Meanwhile, the mountain people are telling us that we didn't get anywhere near as much snow as normal, which I thought was weird.
I don't know. I can't wait till the memory pops up in my phone though in like the middle of May when we had that giant snowstorm a year or two ago. Because I'm sure that'll pop up.
Yeah.
It's been happening in March and April from like past years. And I'm like, whoa, we had a ton of snow.
The guys were here landscaping out front yesterday at the store when I was working here, and they left, and I was like, what is that big pile of stuff over there? But it's just dirty snow. It hasn't melted yet. I thought, oh my God, because it's way across the parking lot.
You're
I
like,
thought,
oh my God, did
they leave like a big pile of stuff there? But no, of course not. So they did a nice job, actually. They did look like they were about 12. I told the online knit group people, I was like, there's two 12-year-olds landscaping our front yard. And they were like, are you sure they're 12? I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure. Which means they're probably at least 22.
Yeah, I can't tell age anymore.
Yeah. They had very young faces.
I drove through like UVM campus the other day and I was like, all of these kids walking around here look like they're about 12.
Yeah.
And they're clearly all college kids.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's... sound like my grandmother.
That's the sound of getting old.
Right. I never thought I would be that person, but here we are.
Here we are. Here we are. Those young whippersnappers.
That's right. Get off my lawn. Actually, if you want to come on my lawn, you're more than welcome, and here's a rake.
You have to rake some stuff while you're there.
Right. Pick up the sticks.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything yet because I'm waiting for the pollinators to survive. They say it has to be at least 50 degrees at night, and I'm pretty sure it has not been 50 degrees at night yet. Although, big spring milestone last week. Peepers. I heard the spring peepers last week, and I was like, oh, there we go.
Sign number one.
Yeah, the little tree frogs singing their hearts out. It was good. Yeah. Maybe some flowers this week, and we'll be good to go.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of...
Yeah, we should probably...
We have a lot of not much.
We have a lot of nothing. That's also a contender for the title. A lot of nothing.
Right, and lots of it.
Yes.
All right. I just realized that, but you have them over there. I was going to talk about the needles, but they're in my bag, but I'll just use yours to talk about them, so that's fine.
I think that's over there. We're all good.
It's a reminder, right?
So...